Yeah. Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Okran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard, as well as other partners. So, today we continue that beautiful journey in February, the month in which we are focusing on healthy relationships. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been looking at how to build and sustain relationships, the challenges that people face at various levels. Today, we want to look at the trends. What is trending? What is the new trend in relationships at various levels? How do we cope with them? And what must we do to still have healthy relationships? I have two great friends here. Let me bring them on, as they say. First, let me bring on Dr. Kafui Mills-Odoi, licensed clinical professional counselor, member of the American Association of Christian Counselors. I didn't know about the Ghana Academy of Christian Counselors, but Kaf, good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for making time for this conversation.
Oh, my pleasure always.
Right. And also the host of Whispers and Dusk. Excel.
Yes. Yes.
And then, of course, we have PG Sebastian. PG Sebastian is a relationship coach. Charlie, are your players winning or losing?
They are winning.
They are winning on every side. PG's quite a regular on the show, and PG builds relationships, supports. Do you get more requests for premarital or post-marital?
It's a mixture, but premarital is probably the single largest of my the various packages that I offer. That is the single largest demographics.
Okay.
So about 30% of all my clients from last year were premarital counseling.
I guess.
And last year I did about 442 sessions.
And premarital is right.
30%, yes.
It's a good thing, isn't it?
It is. I believe in the foundations. You get the foundation right and everything you put on top works. If the foundation is wrong, the cracks will keep coming, and all we have to do is to keep patching, holding, sustaining, surviving. But you don't see a lot of significant growth because the relationship wasn't built on good foundation. Sometimes the foundation is so vital and so deep, you can't even change it. It's like people are set in their ways.
It's what they call
different.
The stronghold.
Exactly. Stronghold. So for that, you just equip them to just build on top, just manage it with what they have.
And much of it is online.
Yes.
I'll come to you for the role of technology in these conversations. But let me start with you, Kafui. What are some of the significant changes you are observing in your practice and your engagement with young people, which is really at the core of a lot of what you do, in terms of how relationships are panning out these days compared to what we've known over the years?
I'm telling you, a number of things have happened. I remember how choices used to be guided by ethnic or the specific origin of people, and then now there is a prolific increase in cross-border and high interest in intercultural marriages. There's also the bit around the what you talked about, the dual income track.
Okay.
It used to be the male predominantly being the one working, and then looking out for a young woman who would come in and take care of the home. And it used to be very exotic then that you groom the woman for the home. But now it's send your child to school. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's completely made a total shift. So you have that as well. You have more empowered, couples where both are on the same track. You see technology bringing people together. I'll leave that for you to
handle that.
to Sebastian to handle that. We also see the bit around things around how people meet.
Right.
That is changing. It used to be write letters and then it's gone to.
Did you ever feature in the brightness of this day?
Has given me the opportunity to pen. You see, use
This missing.
To scribble in this missing.
and then from the sugar-coated mountain.
I still wonder what was going through the minds of people. I mean, it was very serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
do think
actually will write it and your mates will review it for you.
Yes.
It's a very big thing. And when you get a reply, it's a subject of celebration in the dormitory.
And if you don't get the reply,
Actually, what is wrong as I
And some people also write themselves letters.
Yeah,
Because they're not
because
getting
and you post it and it will come to you.
yes, I did that Valentine's Day
my
in school.
goodness.
Hey, because Valentine's Days, I mean,
must get a letter.
cards will be going around. So holidays, you get yourself some substantially nice,
put it down.
number, and then you post them ahead of time.
And it will land. And there will be a celebration.
My God. And then you make sure from me to me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But I find that when you tell your children or you tell people today that it used to happen, it sounds very strange. They think you're even lying.
No, they really found it they felt, was it that bad?
Yeah.
I mean, that you were that lonely, you didn't have it. I said, no, look at it from an empowering perspective.
Yes.
I love myself so much.
Yes. And you sent yourself a letter.
Of sending myself, yes.
Powerful.
Yeah. For me to be.
So there's multicultural, there's dual income,
Yes.
there's technology, and you're saying that even the mood, the way people meet
Yeah.
Yeah.
has changed.
Oh,
You've
it's-
mentioned what pertained in the past.
Yes.
What pertains now from where you sit?
First we used to have people meeting through friends, being introduced with families, and the neighborhoods were pretty close and all. But now the shift, either it's that they've gone to the club or they were in a program at church or they traveled to school or, I mean, it's become the most, what we'll call the unlikeliest places.
Yeah.
Either taking the
what are the
transport.
implications?
Well, the implications, I think it's got its positive sides, positive because now we are opening ourselves up for more and richer experiences. And the implication is that if you have older parents who have to understand the choices you're making, you might trigger a number of challenges.
Right.
And also implications would also mean for you must also, if it's multicultural or intercultural, then the challenges of understanding how you
Different cultures.
you bring different cultures together and also survive in the midst of the shocks or the adjustments and things like that. So those are the key things I would say. Faith, we used to say if it's this church, you are in this church. If it's this group, they marry amongst themselves. But now you're having more of
Crossover.
Yeah.
Crossover.
Yeah.
I like that.
these are the
Crossover.
denominations. I like the crossovers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those are happening pretty much. And they also come with their challenges.
It does.
And positive experiences. Open-mindedness. We are getting, the country is getting, or the continent is getting closer. Our continents are getting, the world is getting smaller. We're getting to appreciate the world from a global perspective than from your narrow, point of view and where you used to stay. So I think it's gone at the as if you days, but this one as if you were.
Wow. Fiji, let's settle on technology. It seems to be at the very center of the changes that Kafui mentions. He's showing us both sides of it. But let's talk about the actual dynamic of how technology has become a center in either how people meet, how they engage, how they seek help, how they evaluate what they are doing. Help us to appreciate.
Well, so for how people meet, again, like you said, it's made the world a smaller place. Previously you stay in your little takrade and then
I'm Katari and Kamashok.
Thank you very much. Your experiences are just limited to that space, And with technology, all of that is tripled, quadrupled, 10 times, a million times. Now you are here communicating with people in India. You are here communicating with people in Germany, people in Asia, different parts of the world. And with over 5 billion human beings available to choose from, again, our choices are also, without end. But therein also lies sometimes the tendency to hope that the next swipe is going to be a better person. And you keep swiping. You keep swiping before you know you are 40 years and you are still swiping. Because you have too many choices or too many options to choose from that eventually you struggle to choose. Again, with digital comes, digital is, as we say, double-edged sword. There is a positive side. Now we instantly communicate. We instantly connect. And I mean, what a time to be alive. I mean, back in the day, if you wanted to see your NRA or your side business or your main business, I mean, if you are not married and you wanted to see your girlfriend, sometimes you had to walk in front of their house like 10 times, hoping that somebody will come from the house, be like, hey, Hannah Watan, I saw like, no, yeah, Hannah Watan. Hoping that by talking, your voice will go up for the girls to hear, the guys to hear that. No, this guy is there for. But now, if you want to talk to the person, you just pick your phone and you're talking to the person. You don't talk to the person through just text. You can actually see the person.
Actually, when Campus went to the US, that was 5 weeks after we got married. Max was fresh, and then she went to the US for a year.
Oh dear!
And
that was tough.
That was mental health, lived experience.
Yeah, you have to wait for the. You have to wait for the.
And we write. Oh, phone call.
Letters.
This was 90.
Phone calls were not common.
No phone call.
No
so
phone.
You write. So I bought full scrap. The full scrap, long one,
Yes.
rude one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
I could write as many as 10, 40 pages.
Yes.
And I'll post it. Then it will go to editor to write back.
Plenty.
Then post it. Then it will come.
Exactly.
We kept them till today. You can publish them. It means
But
this ice water.
No, you just swipe. You just pick up. You just ice water. Yeah, it been quite. You write the note, you tie it around the spoon, then you throw it to the person. You need to talk to the person. And sometimes the person is like 2 or 3 houses away from you. You can go for a whole week without seeing the person because of certain family structures. Father is very strict, or your parents are very strict, or something. You couldn't do any of that. But now you don't have any of those barriers. And much as this is good, it also has its downside, because for some people, sometimes they need time alone. Sometimes they need time to focus. For some of us, like me inclusive, I'm not the type of person I sit down and in 2 minutes I'm concentrating. I take my time.
It's a diesel engine.
I take my time to blend into what I'm doing. So if you keep taking me out for a prolonged period of time, you distort and distract my way of thinking and all of that. So, for people like us, this whole ability to be reached as and when somebody wants and all of that, sometimes it can become stressful. And you see, with this availability of technology, data, and how it makes each person accessible to us, sometimes, if you're not careful, you might come across like you are trying to snoop and you are trying to spy on the person. Because sometimes you just pick a phone and you make a phone call and it's video call because I just want to see your face. But you see, the person is thinking, why do you want to see where I am? So it has a different meaning. So technology has a positive side. It also has its negative side. Again, there is also the issue of digital boundary. Digital boundary. Your partner is not intentionally trying to track or see what you are doing. But then they can't just close their eye to the guy who has liked all your pictures. The guy who has always commenting. The guy who's always doing the extra under your post. I mean, I'm jealous. I need to, be honest with you. I'm seeing all these things. It's blatant. It's like open flirtation. And, I'm not comfortable. But the other person is not looking at it through that lens. So it comes across like, okay. Now, I know a couple of people have blocked their partners on social media. They block them because, listen, I would rather we are not connected and have peace at home than for us to connect and begin to have problems with how I behave online and all of that. And then a final thing I like to also talk about is creating boundaries in the house during a certain space of time. Now there is no limitation to the extent that you wake up to go and probably, use the bathroom at 1 a.m. Your partner is awake. Why are you not sleep? No, I can't sleep. I'm not feeling sleepy or something. Okay, all right. But then they're on WhatsApp, in a group chatting. And for some people, it feels like this group, everybody in the group is in the bedroom because you are there. It's 1 a.m. Somebody is bound to ask you a question. That is person, hey, why can't you sleep? Is your wife not there? Then you are most likely bound to respond. And sometimes you end up giving information and details that is inappropriate, or people think that, you shouldn't. So it has its pros, it has its cons, but fair balance or trying to toe the middle line is where sometimes we struggle.
This is Springboard Adventure University, and this is about emerging trends in relationships. It's a simple attempt at juxtaposing what used to be as against what is, just so we can find the benefits of the things we are doing now, and also some unforeseen issues and challenges that it might pose, and how individuals, couples can be better apprised and informed to be able to find their rhythm and find their balance. And Doc is giving us a bucket list, and PG is giving us the technological implications. So we are looking at things like multicultural, things like dual income, technology, how people meet, interdenominational, even interfaith. And we also are looking at, with technology, how people seem to have a seamless way to what he calls switch or swipe. I like the swipe. And how that creates sometimes immediacy with also its own implications. Let's talk about a trend that has become very, very common. And I'll come to you for the technological side of it, but online dating. So I meet a young man that I'm mentoring, and he's coming for a function that has other people in the pool. And literally everyone who is coming with their partner. And he brings his partner. None of us knew about the partner. And he says, oh, we met 2 days ago. She's from a different country. We met at what was a restaurant or something. He's also registered his presence. Of course, I won't hesitate to tell you that a month later, oh, where is Messi? Oh, yeah. They figured it out. Yeah. Each one has moved on in peace. Yeah. But the boldness to bring a 48-hour-old friendship to the table as his choice was, till today, quite a pleasant surprise to me. Doc,
yes.
online dating. Tell me, how does it figure in this construct?
It's part of the evolution. It's part of it. As we talked about multicultural. It means cultures from different places will infiltrate. In the digital world is showing us quicker ways of doing things or easier ways of engaging, right? And so they have clean platforms, they set boundaries, they have rules, they have etc. It's a whole gamut. They have different types, right? And so depending on your need and your inability to, somebody sees you those days, Obihu, and says, oh, he shows some liking. And the person just, come on, you know how you, if you want some shot, can you imagine? Can you imagine, And that can dent someone's ego, someone's confidence, or someone writes a letter and that letter is published, it becomes, So, I mean, they found, ways in which they can meet different needs of very sensitive groups. So sensitive groups are people who may not be that confident, people who may not have the ability to openly approach someone, or they don't just know how to find somebody, So how do you get this opportunity? And people have come up with platforms that can enable you meet, and they are clean ones. Yeah. You have to identify, places and spaces or platforms that are conducive to your needs and meet your needs.
So if you were trying to use that kind of facility or service, what would be the pointers to a good or clean platform, like you call it? What would be some of the pointers?
For example, if they are classified in very unique ways. So you have those that classify the platforms according to professional, so if it's a particular kind of profession or people of a particular kind of, profession, we have that space. People who are looking for cross-cultural but are looking for a particular kind of person. We also have Christian or faith-based platforms. It's good to read about what these platforms would say. Even if you go read about the platform, don't just jump. We have all sorts of places where people are having escorts and linking you to other things, and that may not be that clean. So that's what you may have to think of. Of course, I wouldn't want to rule out how people's faith play out. So you need to pray, you need to get guided, but go online, search. What do you need? Now the internet is such that you can filter information based on your needs. But read. Read.
That will be the work that you have to do.
Yeah. Read if you want to do it alone. The other one is you can also reach out to therapists. You can reach out to marriage, relationship coaches, therapists like us. I need to understand which ones are the ones that have seen these. How do they really operate? And things like that. And all. We also want to understand why you are not able to engage people directly and why you may want to use that. But this is just a mechanism. Just as you may say, I want to walk to church, but you can't go to a church in Philadelphia. And so I want to go to a place like that. I love that culture, but it's at your doorstep, within your home, within a particular second. But as you said, there are rules to the game.
Yeah.
Challenges to the game, You can go in and, as you said, within 2 seconds. But do you really understand this person's background really well?
Let me stay with that, Doc. I mean, you see different kinds of people. Trauma. Let's just go to your trauma counseling week. And when you talk about trauma, people feel very often trauma is about loss of loved ones and very accident. But can somebody be traumatized by somebody they thought they knew that they probably met virtually, and they find that they live? I'm just trying to look at this. The flip side of this opportunity to meet people. If you are, for instance, a shy person or in your immediate circle, you're not finding somebody.
Yeah.
Are there also instances where you found, in quotes, somebody that you virtually knew, but as you engage, either get duped or you get a very traumatic experience, and that can be very
catfish. They call
Catfish. Exactly.
The person you see, that photograph, technology is doing a lot. It's shaped the person differently, made the person pretty and all that. And in your mind, it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, able to
the specs.
this. Now wait till you meet the person. Back to factory settings.
Gee.
Hey, root shock. Especially how the person engages with you. The person that may show gross disrespect of your culture or who you are. The person in real life may be way off. Or the person may start asking you, I've been having problems and all that. You see, that's number one. The problem Asian. You haven't even started.
Warning signs.
Warning signs. The traffic light is showing
red.
Asking for money. You'll be sending money. You've never met this person. And so these are some of the things that happen in that space. So catfish, as for that one, you would see lots of them. So first of all,
is that official name, catfish?
You will be a Ghana catfish.
When he said it, PG reacted, so I realized that it's known in the sector.
The person you see, you see, the person you see, everybody wants to show a very
positive
side and pretty looking. The brand has to be great. So technology has worked on that photograph differently, made the person smaller, especially trying to meet the needs of what is happening on the market these days. You want a particular kind of thing. And so that's what happens. So absolutely. But you see, what I would want to explain is just like dating. That you would befriend someone, this person is your friend, and within some days you realize the values don't align with yours. So we'll remain friends. Or I think even friendship is not even something I want. So we'll be an acquaintance. So it's something, that's why that accident happened. Or came to your table, and then the next time. But we want to know what is the root cause first. Why are you not able to interact with the real life?
People.
With the real life, what is it? If you are able to deal with that, of course, you have different methods. So you know that I'm attempting this, I'm trying this, I'm trying to explore these, and the method wouldn't matter. But deal with your underlying issues. Yeah.
PG, let's go to boundaries. Okay. People who explore virtual relationships, connecting with people in other parts of the world, people you've not met. I know people can get carried away, and sometimes after they've traveled a certain distance, they decide they would, if they had known better, have stopped at some point. What kind of boundaries must people put in place to ensure that they don't overextend themselves with subsequent regrets? Yes.
Well, so I feel that the first thing, after you've met somebody online and the two of you have gotten acquainted and everything, try and take it offline. Try and take it offline.
First step.
You don't need to be in the same physical space with a person to take it offline. So you stop making it everyday chat, go on social media. Because sometimes, I mean, in counseling, I ask people, so how often do you guys talk on the phone? How often do you guys talk? And I get the question on the phone or through text. And I'm wondering, how are they different, or how are they separated or mutually exclusive? It's the same thing for me. It's a continuum of, phone call to text to phone calls and all of that. And you get to find out that for regular phone calls, sometimes it's not every day, but a text and all of that is constant. I'm like, so you see, you are still keeping the relationship within social media and within online, because text is emotionally deaf. Text is tone deaf. Text misses a lot of things. And sometimes when people are tired, they do not want to express their tiredness through text. But if it's a phone call or a video call or someone that is within a close proximity, so you can actually visit, you get to see them for who they are beyond social media. Because when you meet them in person, when you are doing video calls, they can't constantly curate or choreograph the act. At some point in time, you see them for who they are. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that ask very pointed questions. Be intentional about the question, because you see, when somebody wants to catfish you or use you to a certain point and then dump you and move on, that's where catfish comes in. Because the whole idea is that I'm there to get something from you. And so within a short time, I escalate the relationship and start coming up with problems. And I've made sure that you love me. And so when I start coming up with the problems, you are asking yourself, can I deny the woman I love or the man I love X, Y, Z? So you start doing. And by the time the person is done with you, they just move on.
Absolutely.
And just ghost you.
Yes.
And so that's another word.
Yes, the ghosting.
That's one of the strongest downside of online dating is ghosting. Because one, you didn't take it off social media or off online, so you don't know where the person lives. You don't know people around the person. You haven't asked a lot of pointed questions. You haven't asked questions that they would need to have been prepared to answer. Otherwise, they will fumble, and you will know that, no, this person is making this up.
For example.
So what are your values? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Most people can't answer that question unless people have actually thought about it. If you ask somebody, so you said you are an engineer or you're an architect, you said, so do you see yourself starting an architectural firm or being a partner? Do you think you're going to make a partner in the next No, a lot of people are like, they haven't thought about it. And so when someone is running their mouth of what they want to do and everything, and so what kind of marriage are you looking for? How many children? What kind of future? You realize that? They are not ready. And so if you want to know whether somebody is serious or not, you yourself need to take yourself serious.
Right.
You see, you need to take yourself serious. You need to know where you are going, and you need to know what you need to get to where you are going. And then what you need may include the who.
Yeah.
The person who is going to help you. I mean, as the Bible says, can two walk except they agree? So if we don't agree, we cannot walk. It is when you begin to ask these questions, when you begin to challenge them, that you begin to realize that, okay, people are not who they claim to be. And you see, some people don't take being pushed too well.
Yeah.
And so immediately begin to push them, they're like, no, this is not the space for me.
Yeah.
They will quickly disappear.
Like the guys who call you trying to scam you.
Yes.
When you
exactly. Immediately you begin to ask questions.
They start assaulting you.
Exactly.
Change the language, assault you.
Exactly. So that's what people need to do, because online dating, like I was saying, there are no guarantees.
No.
There are no guarantees. You can make a good one or you can make a wrong one. But then again, I console them when they get online. I'm like, well, the guy next door, the guy in your church who plays the organ can be the most psychotic person you can probably ever bump into. And the person is in your church.
Yes.
So human beings are human beings for who they are. Yeah. It is not where you meet a person that makes a difference.
No.
Your pastor
can
be something else if you get into a romantic relationship with such a person. And you might find gold on an online platform. Yes. So really, it's not a question of where you found the person, but rather what you do after you've connected with the person.
You two are just incredible. Let's talk about what you should be looking out for as you reflect on these personalities, because you may have wondered, is it me or this particular person has certain unusual behavioral patterns? Armed with the information that my two guests are giving me, you possibly might be in a very good position to ask a few more questions and get help and find that it was actually a minefield waiting to be activated. This is Springboard, your virtual university. We're talking about emerging relationship trends with PG Sebastian and Dr. Kafui Mills-Odoi. And Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard, as well as our other partners. Talking about enterprise, the question for the day is on medical insurance. Do I always have to pay for medical services under KCS health insurance and claim a refund later? And guess what? The answer is no. Members are expected to use their cards and accredited service providers and to avoid paying cash unless during an emergency. So once you have the card, use the card at an accredited service provider. This is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. The number to call 030-263-4777. 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. If you are a young person, here we go, looking for opportunities in agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET, and considering finding decent and fulfilling work. If you haven't signed up to the Ghana Growth Program and you don't have the call center on your dial, this is an online place you must be. 030-8255-775. Call or WhatsApp the hotline and you will be given some guidance about opportunities. When I come back from the break, another person doing business in this space will get a lift. The first week in February was about Fugu Plus. Then we went on to Aquaba Fine Foods. Let's see which other young person is doing amazing things in this space. When we come back, please don't go away.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful, memorable goodbyes. It's 2024. And in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise for your advantage.
Learn something new every week and be inspired by innovations, impact, and success stories of individuals making strides in the agricultural, agribusiness, technical, and vocational skills sectors on Ghana Grows Ejuma with Arabo Kumsin and Yabitha. Join us this and every Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. at Ghana Grows, also at Comfort Okran A and at Albert N.E. Okran. On Fridays at 4 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM and on Sundays at 5:45 p.m. on TV3. Ghana Grows is an initiative of Mastercard Foundation in partnership with the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. If you are a young person and you want to be a part of our various interventions, call or WhatsApp Ghana Grows call center on 0308-255-775. Follow us on all our social media handles. Ghana Grows Ejuma. Hope Day.
Welcome back to Springboard of Virtual University and to this incredible conversation about relationship trends, emerging trends in relationships. My guest, Dr. Kafui Mills-Odoi and PG Sebastian.com. We are exploring how relationships are evolving from what you've known over the years and what to look out for about what's different now from what it used to be. And I'm learning about words I didn't know, like catfish, ghosting. I have to create a new directory for the words that I'm learning. This is brought to you by Springboard Roshi Foundation. Our partners are MTN Ghana, Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program. This is a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard Roshi Foundation, aimed at exciting young people about decent and fulfilling work in agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET. We've had an amazing almost 2 years on this journey. And so today, in fulfillment of our promise, we are highlighting another business that is doing incredible things in the space. And this is Mianan Foods. We put out a post on Facebook asking people who are doing things in agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET to share their story. And loads of them, but this one stood out for us because just in this past month, they've also upgraded to biodegradable, environmentally friendly, and food-grade paper jars for their products, which include spices and processed foods. And so we see pepper powder, all pepper spice, ginger powder, etc., etc. But they've been done so beautifully. Technology, innovation, creating opportunity for young women, and doing what we've always been looking out for. So if you want to find the best in indigenous African recipes, the number to call for Mianan Foods, 024 428 0527. The good news is that their products are in all the major supermarkets and stores, so you will find them. It's on your screen, Mianan Foods. Look for the products and support a Ghanaian-owned business to continue to expand and create work for our young people. Doc, isn't that exciting?
And women-led.
Very
Young
powerful.
women-led.
Very, very powerful. I knew that would come in. Tell me, isn't it exciting to have a world in which we can just create opportunity for people and just throw light on their work and get people to patronize it?
And for me, I mean, the fact that they've been there for how long? And it just
18 years doing this consistently.
And it just took this little space, this call, and then just pick.
Yeah.
Good heavens. I mean, these days we want people to be able to cure themselves. But it took 8 years.
Yeah.
And so they go to the next level.
Indeed. And it's very exciting.
Fantastic.
So before we went on the break, we were talking about people that you may meet in your relationship journey and find that what you saw is not what you got. Very often, these people are very confused, traumatized, and wondering what's wrong with them, why theirs alone did not work. I'd like to use the expertise that you two have to help that person navigating their relationship or trying to find the right partner or even having married somebody to understand these personalities, how they present, what to look out for, and then even what to do when you notice these symptoms. So help us to distill some of these personalities and the behavioral patterns that should give you a sign that this is this type or that type.
We have what we call personality disorders.
Right.
I mean, this is a mental health issue. I don't want to mention disease, but it's a mental health issue. It means people have different types of personalities that tend to wound others and wound them exceptionally deeply. Yeah. So we were talking about the bit around you meet somebody online. The person doesn't turn out to be the person you expect the person to be. And we have people who are narcissistic. We call them narcissistic. I mean, we'll explain a little bit. We'll take the turns to do that. We have those who are psychopaths, those who are sociopaths. And then we have empaths, different types of empaths. As for the empaths, they are the kind, sweet, good-hearted people, giving. The challenge they sometimes have is they tend to rescue people. They tend to give themselves that space of being so nice that sometimes being so nice can blind you. Now, narcissists tend to prey empaths. And narcissists, let me tell you the language, they are like con artists or con artists. Let me use artists, that's the word. And so they can prey you, they can profile you, they like going for very top-notch, well-established, intelligent, top brass people. And when they go for them, it is to hide, first of all, to hide their deficiency, right? But they are there to feed. You see, it's a way of feeding off these people, manipulate you, gaslight you, and tend to make you see your reality as something that is completely different. But they are the nicest, the covert ones. The overt, you can see, because they are very brass, give it to you, make you, make you feel, bad, belittle you in public. And sometimes you can see people overtly.
Yeah.
But the covert are the beautiful ones, are not yet born type. Oh, cratchy, iraba, nice looking, sweet. And everybody says that, oh, everybody likes these people. They help you around, they help you at home, they are doing all these things, but at the same time, they are, oh my goodness, wurukum.
How?
To stonewall you. They can use all sorts of things they are deliberate and intentional in emotionally killing people. The how can be, they start cutting you off people before you realize
You're not talking
to this person, trying to tell you all sorts of things about this person. They've gone to also say all sorts of things about you to that person. They are able to sometimes share your deepest sexual intimacies you've had. The overt ones can say it in public. This other person when she's doing this and things like that. But the covert ones, they are the ones who are sometimes even within the faith circles in church. Brother, spiritus, sister, they are the ones who can lead worship, Bible study. They do this. Everybody goes to them. But at home, that person is a totally different person. They tend to hide their issues that they have, their sexual deficient or dysfunctional behavior is totally off. Addictions they may have, you have no idea. They can be with you for years and you never know. You never know that they have addictions to things like pornography, to tobacco. You will know. To drugs, you would see. You've lived with them for years, and you see there's something that they'll be doing. One could say, this person.
Would it be a case then that for a person like that, should you even try to raise questions? Everyone around you say, no, you're right.
Exactly.
As you said, the thing is, you question your own reality. Yeah. You doubt, self-doubt. That's the gaslighting, self-doubt.
So in anyone you see that's extremely nice and tries to cut you off from all your support systems, should be a warning sign.
Oh yes, you start, of course. You're not saying nice people are bad, no. But the person is cutting you off people. This person is constantly saying very bad things about people to you, especially your very close networks. Your emotional networks, your social networks,
Very possessive.
Extremely possessive.
And intelligent.
Sometimes they are not that intelligent, but they can also be extreme on the spectrum, depending on the spectrum. They can be extremely intelligent. And they can also, occasionally, that's why they play on your intelligence. Because sometimes the person will say a particular lie. He put them out, even to her will not even babies. If you take their pacifiers out and you do this, they even start trying to look for it. Even a child will know that this is it. But the person is telling you that that's the person.
They believe what they're telling you, and ostensibly
confident.
You know what? Forgive me, but the more you profile, the more my mind goes to. You know what? When you describe something,
now you begin to remember people.
But I think that you see, they profile you from the beginning. You see, they feed off empaths.
Yeah.
They feed off empaths.
Yeah.
They feed off empaths extensively. So once you are that kind-hearted, sweet, and this and that, and also endowed, independent, they are coming in for the kill. So they're coming to harvest you. So the person, whoever has had that experience, it's not you. They've sat down and profiled you, like that mango that you see tree that is there. You know how we dream about you. They sit this mango. The way you suck the crows, the other birds that try to eat it and all that, because that's where you are zooming into. And then they come and present themselves as, your response to all the prayers you have made in life.
And your journey is beginning that day.
Yes,
beginning long.
Some of the things that you see, for you don't need, whoever they are coming for, you don't really need money. Yeah. It's not money that you are looking for. It's not because so they come in with the nuances that make it seem complete, right? Because
that's exactly you've always wanted.
Those are the things you have really dreamt about, and so I'm sure he has a
million also experienced things like that. Come to counseling, and you try to use the science to let them know where they are. Do they fight back? The victims, I mean.
So luckily, there is a generation of people coming up who are able to kind of see where things are going. Maybe their problem is how to get themselves out, but not to actually admit that there's something wrong.
You're saying that people are more aware of these nuances.
Yes, because now the word narcissism, gaslight, and all of that is being thrown around a little bit. So all it takes is for somebody to just read around a little bit and they have some fair idea. Usually it is, they know. But I think that there is also another layer that is from the traditional perspective that confuses them. So they know that this person is manipulating me. They know that this person is gaslighting me. They know that if I don't take a decision now, if I don't act now, I'm going to die and leave my kids. I've lost, and I don't talk to my mom because of my spouse. Now I don't talk to my pastor. In fact, I have to change my church because of my spouse and because of this and that and all of that. I mean, clearly the signs are there that this person is out to harm me. But then there is also the traditional narrative that says that our no war. Yeah, better. Let's not obey one pay. Or God will do it. You go to your pastor is saying, you know what, you just pray about it. It's the devil that is doing these things. Sister, you remember our brother, you have always been at the forefront of, fighting against the kingdom of the enemy. Now you've married, what do you think he'll do? He'll bring the fight to you. So instead of focusing on the problem and on the root causes the person's behavior, we spiritualize it. Or you go to your parents, your mother who lived through an abusive marriage and has been conditioned to assume and to process abuse as an integral part of marriage or the marital journey, will also tell you to go back and stay. And if you are not careful and your spouse is wealthy, then you know that his responsibility goes beyond you, goes into your family, extended family. Meanwhile, as we are talking right now that you are going to complain that your husband or your wife is doing whatever, 3 of your siblings or cousins are living with you in his house. So you go, they will send you back. So you see, at the time the person is wondering, I'm being manipulated. Is this going to harm me? Do I need an intervention and all of that? They are also thinking of what they have heard, that these things are part of, nobody is perfect. Human beings are like that. People will change. So there is that conflict in their mind. But once you are able to give them good reason why what they are listening or what they are scared of shouldn't be something they should be scared of, but rather what they are condoning and what they are beginning to make excuses for should be rather something they should, focus on. It begins to send some level of awakening in them. And now they are willing to have that conversation.
That one, you said people are, narcissists evolve.
Yes.
Especially the covert ones.
Yes.
And they know that when they're being found out, then a different
side.
Exactly.
And that was why I was
trauma bound to the people who are traumatizing them.
Exactly. Or they are codependent.
Yes.
So codependency is where you love someone unto destruction.
Yeah.
And we do it in different ways. A very dysfunctional, you know what I mean, child. And the mother will continue, or the father will continue paying. You don't worry. Obasasa and all the religious platitudes. Oh, nyame beye, kodu, nothing like tough love. Yes. If you come back with this again,
yes, you're going to do it, yes.
And if you do that, I am not going to take up the cost. If you bring a child again into this house, you are leaving. You're going to take care of the child. No,
I want us to stay with the solution, because
yes,
I mean, this is, I can tell you from where I sit, this is very widespread.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes,
very widespread.
Oh yes, and you see, not to even to cut you short, I was going to say something and escaped. Once you stand up to a narcissist,
they don't like it.
They don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What? No. Because you are finding them out, and you see, they build their castles, and they build their castles on sand
and on deception.
Yes. So immediately you stand up to them, and so I always tell ladies when they come for counseling. I mean, if they're going through that, I always tell her, listen, just stand up to him, just threaten him.
What does it mean?
No. So, for instance, if a person begins to cut your friends out, but then they keeping their friends, you have to tell them that, okay, well, I don't think at this moment in time we are being fair, or you are being fair to me. You have 1,001 reason why Genevieve shouldn't be my friend again, why you have a problem with me going out with my cousin. This individual has been my life support thousands of years before I even met you, and all of that. I've not had.
So the quadratic equation is isolate you from all the support systems.
Exactly, just so that you
keep you dependent on me.
Exactly.
Isolate you, then control you and destroy.
Yeah. Exactly. So
after exacting all I want.
Exactly. So
you are saying that at the point where you see the clipping of all the support systems,
you stand up,
rise to the occasion.
Yes, let the person understand that. Yes, let the person understand that. Listen, you are doing all these things to me, but you have your friends. If you think that me staying in the house is good, it protects me from the world and everything, I guess that we should all be in the same space. Otherwise, both of us need to sit down and decide which friends we are going to keep and which friends we are going to. And you need to give me a reason. Because sometimes there is no reason except that I just don't like the way this person is. Sometimes some friends are genuinely a bad influence. Let's face that as essential.
Can somebody demonstrate these tendencies without knowing that they themselves are narcissists?
You know, the person knows that we have narcissistic tendencies. And then we have those who have the disorder.
Only
you know,
but
so
people who
have the tendencies and all that.
But can they migrate if left unattended?
Oh, yes. It will
It can start with a certain insecurity around.
Exactly. And it also goes back to childhood. What exposure, what was in the family, what kind of dysfunctions were they surrounded with? And so if they're able to get help, but most of the times, persons with narcissistic disorder, they don't go for help. I'm telling you, they'll come and sit here. They can even, as a specialist,
they'll counsel you.
They can even
they'll counsel you.
They'll confuse you.
And usually they'll tell you. And you know, you pick them in counseling. When they start talking, you see a certain prejudice, a certain bias.
Grandiose.
They understand that thing. They belittle their partners, and they have a way of, and you see, you need to be a professional. You need to understand this, not to fall in love with them. Because if you're not careful, the person that you've been, sympathizing with suddenly becomes the angel, the devil, right in front of you. Yes. I mean, so they are very good at that.
Then the good thing is you need to know the spectrum. So the overt ones are those who have the tendency to physically abuse you. So for those ones, if they are physically abusing you, you need to reach out for help.
Yeah.
That one, reach out for help. There's no way we can tell you that no. You can't stand up to those ones.
Yeah.
So and if you dare them,
they
will harm you. And then the vengeance is their game. They can sit back and plot a demonic, maniacal, way of dealing with you that can cost you your life. So those ones, the dealing with them is you have the references. So we can share hotlines, you can call, can call, not call you share baby. Name mom. The ones that are like, hello, how are you? The Lord is our portion.
But behind it,
hey!
Is the family becoming an endangered institution? That is the second part of this conversation. If you have liked part one, you will love part two, because we'll bring clarity and settlement to this. Because sometimes when we expose some of these disorders, it can be very scary. So the program is closed, but you're still down thinking, how come I didn't see this all along? Where do I start from? How do I get help? But the bigger question is, in the face of all these trends, the first part being what is happening differently now from what used to be, the second part being personalities that are beginning to emerge in the relational mix and how they present. Do not despair. Next week, in part 4 of this series on healthy relationships, Kafui and PG will be gracious enough to stay with me as we explore, in the face of all this, is the family an endangered species, or is there hope for the future? Hope or no hope?
Hope day.
Hope or no hope? Oh, okay. So the Ghana Grace slogan is Hope Day. So Hope Day. Let me give you your closing words in a minute, starting with you, Kafui.
Well, I'll just say, pay attention, be very cautious. At the same time, make friends. The thing, we don't do it. Make friends. Out of that, if you're looking for someone, definitely you'll find. And you'll also be surrounded by very positive people who can support you better and deepen your faith in God.
Awesome. PG.
What I would say is that the face of modern relationship is changing. It's nothing like what we have known in the past. So I'll encourage anybody who wants to get into relationship also to be open-minded and be willing to build your own cultures and your own new traditions, because what you are bringing from the past and what your partner is also bringing might be totally different from what currently suits or meets your needs. And you should be willing to be open-minded to make some adjustment, some changes that fit the reality of modern life.
The reality of modern life, and those are the thoughts of PG Sebastian, bringing us to the end of today's edition of Springboard, Your Virtual University. My guests have been Dr. Kafui Mills-Odoi, who's a licensed clinical professional counselor with other affiliations that we are very excited about, and PG Sebastian is a relationship coach. He tells me his teams are winning, and to find him, just go to pgsebastian.com and you will get help. For those who might be thinking, Charlie, if I need help and I want to go to pgsebastian.com, but me, I don't like websites, just give me a number to WhatsApp. The number to call to WhatsApp is 055-484-9792. Is that the correct number?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me put it on the screen, 055-484-9792. Just send a WhatsApp and you will get direction about how to be supported. Next week is the family on course, or should we lift up our hands in despair? My guests say Hope Day. So let's continue next week. My name is Albert Okran, thanking you on behalf of Team Springboard, Roadshow Foundation, and our partners MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, itself a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard, as well as our other partners. Till next week, God bless you, and God bless you.
Turn around, turning point, yeah.